Welcome to another chess video. This is Jake, and I run the chess club at the Creston-Dement Public Library, and thank you for joining me today. Today will be the first video discussing some beginning tactics, starting with pins. A pin is when a piece is being attacked, but moving that piece would reveal an attack on a more valuable piece. For example, in the Queen's Gambit declined opening, a typical move for white is bishop to g5, which is a pin on black's knight on f6. The knight is now pinned down, for if it moves to another square, it will reveal an attack on black's queen. If black makes the move knight to g4, white can simply come in and take the queen. Let's look at why bishop to g5 is a good move besides just this pin. First, it develops a piece for white, which follows one opening principle. It also indirectly follows another opening principle of controlling the center by removing the opposing knight's influence over the center with a pin. Because like I mentioned before, this knight can no longer move, so it is no longer defending or attacking squares in the center of the board. And finally, let's look at black's point of view. Typically, you do not want your pieces to be pinned down and unable to move. So let's try to unpin our knight from our queen. There are multiple ways to accomplish this, but there is only one way to unpin while following the opening principles. I'll give you a few moments to see if you can find the move on your own. If you found bishop to f7, well done. Bishop f7 follows all of the opening principles. It develops a piece, it helps protect the king by allowing us to castle quickly, and helps us control the center by unpinning our knight, allowing it to influence the center again. Another move many beginners would probably look at is pawn to h6. And while this could force the issue and cause white to simply take the knight, and you can retake with your queen, white has another option, which is to move the bishop back to h4. At this point, the pin is still active, and if you try to continue attacking the bishop by moving to g5, white can again run away, and now your kingside pawns, they won't provide as much protection to your king. This is why bishop to e7 is the preferred move. Now, there are different types of pins. The pin that we just covered would be called a relative pin. To understand why it is a relative pin, we need to cover absolute pins. An absolute pin is when a piece is pinned to the king. Black would not be able to move his knight on c6 at all, or he would lose the game because of a revealed attack on his king. The pin is absolute. In our previous example, and here, the pin on the knight on f6 is relative. Because you can move the knight, it would just be a bad idea to do so. However, if white made a weird move, such as queen to h5, black could capture, take the queen, and be up a piece. And pins can happen at all stages of the game. The previous examples took place during the opening, but this next example happens in the middle stages of a game. This example is from a real game I've played, and white's queen is staring down at black's king, which is pinning this pawn on g7. This means that the g7 pawn can no longer protect the pawn on h6, which my rook can sweep in and take, which breaks open the defenses for black's king. It's also leading to a potentially scary attack, with a rook sacrifice on h8. For example, if black makes a bad move, the king takes, queen to the h file. The only move black has is back, and queen to h7 would be checkmate, being protected by my bishop. But that is all the time we have to talk about pins today. Don't forget to join us next week for another chess video. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you and your king stay safe.